what it is, what it does, what it is, what it was. It's your boy Lean Trucker, back with another.
Why you sleeping on us? Why you sleeping on us? No cap, we gon' have to make them believe us.
Alright, y'all, this is part 4. So obviously that means look, there's 3 of them. Go back and watch the other 3 if you didn't catch any one of those. Okay? So this is part 4 of how and when I knew that being a company guy wasn't for me. Did y'all hear that right? Wasn't for me. Not that it's horrible, not that it's bad, that it wasn't for me. Now, and I want to say this too. This is actually different. This particular story is different than the other ones because with those other ones, I was literally a company guy in a company truck. This one right here, I'm actually leased on now. The reason why I'm calling it company guy, because there was restrictions like being a company guy, which I will share a little bit right here and right now. So at this company, I could determine I'm leased on. I'm getting 67%. This is still gas hauler, by the way, local job, gas hauler. I couldn't determine my schedule. I'm getting 67% of the split. I could determine what time I came in, as long as it stayed consistent, but I could not determine my off days. This wasn't just me. This was a company-wide thing. You kind of had to get seniority or different things like that so in order to have a set schedule, which I eventually did. But yeah, it just kind of felt like, honestly, it's a glorified company deal because I didn't have any say-so with my schedule. I didn't really have much say-so with the guy who was dispatching me. I didn't really have much say-so with the load that he gave me. Actually, let me rephrase that. I didn't have any. Right? So what ended up happening though was, now at this point I'm in with this company for like a year or whatever, so I have learned they got, well, I already knew they had day and night dispatchers, but what I ended up learning, thanks to a partner of mine, that the night crew would actually change your loads if you asked them. That was back then, okay? Back then, y'all. So yeah, they would change them if you asked them. So what I would do is, I got this formula from my homie, who showed me, hey man, if you get this store from this loading rack, it'll pay you this much. So we ended up racking up a formula to where we was actually able to maximize our money. We was making some serious dough, especially being at home every week. Yeah, we couldn't determine our schedule. We was rotating 2 days off. Then like that, the money was great. So yeah, what ended up happening was the day shift guy. Okay, he's one of those. This wasn't new, but he was one of those control freaks kinds. So he actually saw what was going on when he came in. Why did this bother him, y'all? I have no idea. His job was to make sure the stores were covered. All those guys were doing was they'll switch it off of me and put it on somebody else. They'll just like switch out stores. That person didn't come in, by the way, until the next morning. So, just an example. Let's say I'm coming in, because I was somewhere around this time, at 2 a.m. And someone else coming in at 4 a.m. So, I would ask for a certain store. They would give me that was on whoever, and they'll swap him with the other one. So, the load was still getting covered. That's pretty much how I was going, right? Swapping the loads were benefiting me. They needed me to do stuff for them. Scratch my back, scratch your back. Why? Because in story number 2, we recognize we don't do favors in business. Okay? Plugging along, night in, night out, so to speak, on work days. Everything is good, everything is great. What ended up happening with him was he didn't like it. Like I say, he just didn't have the control. He just didn't like it. So he actually lied. At first, what he tried to do was go to the big boss and complain about it. He tried to make it about, not being able to go to this rack, blah, blah, blah. Bottom line is, it didn't work. So when that didn't work, he ended up going to the night crew and saying, hey, big boss said that you know, y'all can't touch the loads that I put on the guys, because his reason was he made it seem like it was a problem with loads not getting done, right? So he told them, Big Boss said don't mess with it because of this and that and all that. So they don't know because they're not talking to him. They come in, the night crew come in at 7 p.m. and Big Boss leaving at 5. So that's why he knew he could tell them that, and you know, they would go for it. So they started telling me, hey man, old boy said, the dispatch said that Big Boss said we can't no longer touch the loaders, this and that. And I was like, wow. And I asked him, did he tell y'all that? Because usually he was one of those guys, the Big Boss. He was one of them that if he had something like that, he was going to send a mass email to all the dispatchers, because it was quite a few of them, like about 4 or 5 of them, because they cover different areas. But all of them could help, you know, if we needed their help or something. And they all said no. No, he ain't emailed us nothing. And it was like, I think he's just lying, but you really can't do a whole lot because you don't really know. I said, all right. Now, it was more going on to that story. It really was. It got deeper. But what that taught me was, and at this point, I was getting close to that on my way out to start my own authority. What that taught me was I did not like the feeling of some other person controlling my money. You know, that feeling of I had a ceiling, and no matter what I did, I could only go so high based on these individuals that decided to allow me to do so. And that was the last strike that I needed at that point to realize that working for someone wasn't really for me. It took me a long time to get there. We're talking about I was 18 from story number 1. So at this time, I believe I was like 30, literally like at the age of 30. That's 12 years. It's like, well, why it took so long? Because this is why it took so long. Because I am not like I'm not what you call hard to get along with. Sorry about that. Some troopers sitting over on the side. I got this phone right up in here, you know what I'm saying, record a little bit. But I wasn't that type of employee that I didn't have a problem getting along with people, following instructions. None of those were really my issue. The only issue I actually had was what I said in story number 1, is that I didn't do well with, you know, you looking over my shoulder or you coming to look at me. I'm supposed to act like I'm doing something even if I'm not doing anything. So it took me a while to realize this, because like I said, didn't really have that kind of, you know, I wasn't battling with people. I didn't have a problem with, like I said, you know, being told what to do or whatever. But yeah, those combinations, you know, that all those things that I told y'all, you know, it was like, I don't really like this. You know what I'm saying? How about it, you know, try this stuff on my own and see what happens. So that's it, guys. That's what it is. Comment down below if you feel me. You understand what I'm saying? If you don't, it's all good. You got some questions, try to